In this video, I'm going to explain to you why it's okay to interrupt a woman. To start off, I'm going to play a clip where a girl's explaining why women are attracted to motivated men. I want you to watch it not so much for the content, but so that you can pay attention to the body language. I want you to notice that even as she's expressing her opinion, she's constantly checking in with her boyfriend, who's sitting right there, to see if he approves of what she's saying. She's looking to him for guidance. Take a look.
I think women like a man that is motivated, and yeah, like if they have good values, then women tend to draw towards that. So that's my opinion. But
my immediate thought is,
notice that even though she has her own thoughts on this topic, she's able to express herself, she's confident, there's a logic to the progression of her thoughts. At all times, she seems to be checking in with him to see whether or not what she's saying is okay. Did you notice that at the end of the clip, he interrupts her and she just stops talking mid-sentence? Her words just fade into nothing because he started to speak. This actually happens again later on in the interview. Watch this next part.
If a woman breaks up with her partner, do you think it's because she hopes to attract someone of higher value?
I think it's more something in the woman, an insecurity within her. I don't potentially think that it's the man's fault for her to go and find something else because he's not good enough. It really lays within the woman, because
more often than not, it's a problem in their relationship, not that, oh, I think I can get something better.
yeah, like
Or are they related? Maybe they're related in some way.
Did you see that? It happens again. What he does is he takes his time to think through his thoughts to come up with an answer. And even though she's talking mid-sentence, he just interrupts her and starts speaking, and she completely lets him. She doesn't seem to see it as a problem. She just stops and begins listening to him. It doesn't matter what she says before. She just agrees with what he's saying now. And then she's not upset. She laughs along with the joke that he makes. Now, before I go on with the interview, I just want to express my gratitude for this couple for letting me shoot this footage. They were really friendly, really awesome. Their relationship looked very healthy and functional to me, so thank you to you guys. Now, a really hardcore feminist woman might look at this interaction and really take issue with the fact that he's interrupted her. She might say, this is typical of the patriarchy. This is typical of male privilege. Look at him just speaking over that poor woman, dominating her. How disgraceful. I can see how you might make that interpretation, but I guarantee that is not what's going on here. As a man, this can be a little bit difficult to understand because what we do is we project our own thoughts and feelings, and we imagine what it would be like for us to be in that woman's shoes, to be interrupted. Personally, I really don't like being interrupted. If I'm speaking, it's because I have something to say. I've given it careful consideration. I know what I have to say has value. And if I'm speaking, you can silently listen. If you do interrupt me, I consider that rude and disrespectful. I'm talking at the moment. You can patiently wait your turn. It took me a long time to realize that women aren't like this, at least not most women. First of all, women talk way more than men. We might be 50-50 in terms of men and women in the population, but we're not at all equal when it comes to the amount of words that we speak. I would hazard a guess that 75% of all words spoken on the earth came from women. They just talk more, and they talk for very different reasons than men do. Men largely talk in order to communicate information, vital, essential information. It's why we don't tend to ramble so much with unnecessary details. When we speak, it's usually after careful consideration. Women are more inclined to use talking as a means of bonding with one another. It's about the feelings, it's about the emotions. Women just like to talk, and they talk a whole lot more than men, which is how we get into this discussion of supply and demand. With this huge abundance of female words out there, the supply is so massive, the demand just isn't as high. Female words are just not valued as much, especially when compared to male words, which are just not in that much supply. When there's a small supply of something, there's a much higher demand. And that's what you saw in this interaction between the girlfriend and the boyfriend. There was an implicit recognition from her that her words were not as valuable as his. She probably talks way more than he does. And so when he decides to speak, she just stops talking. She just gives him the floor. Now, add to this fact that for women, social bonding and getting the approval of the group is a lot more important for their survival than it ever was for men. We're talking about evolutionary psychology here, and for women, getting along with others, having successful social relationships was essential if they wanted to live. Social bonding was probably important for men as well, but not nearly to the same degree. For a man, it was more considerations that were practical. Can he track the seasons? Can he hunt the mammoth? For women, their survival was primarily linked to their social skills. So imagine this situation where a woman is confronted with a choice. On the one hand, she can stand up for an idea that she really believes in. And on the other hand, she can quash that idea and just get along with everybody, improve her social status in the group. It's really not a fair or neutral choice because inside her, she has to acknowledge massive instinctual programming telling her that it's absolutely vital that everybody likes her, that she gets along with everybody, to prioritize the social bonding. An idea is just an idea, an opinion is just an opinion. What this girl really wants is for her boyfriend to like her. She's not going to get into a fight or a conflict with him over an idea if it's going to compromise how he feels about her. No, that's far too dangerous to her survival. This is why women don't get as passionate about ideas as men do. For men, whether an idea is good or bad, right or wrong, can have life or death significance. For women, whether or not people like her socially has that same significance. She will live or die based on whether or not other people like her. Now, the last reason why she didn't get upset at the fact that he was interrupting her is because it's completely appropriate to their roles within the relationship. He's the male, he has the masculine energy, and he's the leader in the relationship. She's the female, she has the feminine energy, and she is the submissive one in the relationship. Now, despite what the feminist propaganda says about this dominant-submissive dynamic, saying that it's oppressive to women, this is actually what women want. Whether or not they admit it, deep down, women want a strong man. They want a leader. They want somebody who can inspire them, somebody who they can feel safe in following. That is one of the thrills of being a woman, of standing behind a strong man. So that's why she's behaving that way during the interview. Even as she's expressing her views, she's constantly checking in with him to make sure that he doesn't disagree with any of her views. You probably noticed that he doesn't do that. He's not turning around and checking to see if he's saying something controversial. He doesn't need to. He's the man. He's the leader in that relationship. He just looks straight ahead and speaks his thoughts. He doesn't need to check in with her. He is leading as he should be doing. And she loves it. So this whole thing still does seem a little strange to me because I have such a strong aversion to being interrupted. I don't like when people interrupt me, and so it seems rude when you do it to other people. But the point of this channel is to explore how men are different from women. And so guys, learn this lesson. In the right context, women don't seem to mind being interrupted. They just don't. If you're a strong man, if you're a strong leader in your relationship, then you're all good.